Hello and welcome to the viewers of this video. This is the Orange Fan here, bringing you another entry for the episode Recap and Thoughts category. This video will be dedicated to the FUNimation dub of episode 74 of Dragonball Super. Picking up where we last left off, we begin this episode with Jaco intercepting Gohan while he's in his Great Saiyaman costume and flying in the sky with Coco Amaguri holding on because Coco can't fly. And Jaco prepares the cannon from his spacecraft to attack Gohan because Jaco mistakenly believes the Great Saiyaman to be possessed by Watagash. Luckily, Gohan is able to show Jaco that he, Gohan, is the one wearing the Great Saiyaman costume before anyone can get hurt. And after the misunderstanding has been cleared up, Jaco proceeds to tell Gohan that he's on Earth searching for the mind parasite criminal Watagash. Jaco explains that Watagash is drawn to the darkness of one's heart and will possess dark-hearted individuals, granting them great power in the process. Jaco also adds that Watagash will grant his host even greater power if the host has an even greater amount of darkness in their heart. And Jaco also requests Gohan to keep this situation between themselves because Jaco admits that this is supposed to be, in his words, a top secret case. And he only told Gohan about it because he felt that circumstances have unfolded in a way where he had to tell Gohan about the situation. So after Gohan and Jaco finish talking, Jaco proceeds to continue searching for Watagash, while Gohan flies Coco Amaguri back to her residence at an apartment building so Gohan and Coco can rehearse lines for the Great Saiyaman movie. So during the line rehearsals, Coco is thinking back to the situation that led to her requesting Gohan to come to her apartment building residence to rehearse lines. It turns out that Coco was actually doing this because she's blackmailed. More specifically, Barry Kahn wanted Coco to have Gohan go to her apartment building residence to rehearse lines, and Barry called up an associate of his, and what Barry wants is to have this associate take pictures. The associate is going to be on the rooftop of a nearby building, nearby to the apartment building that Coco has taken residence in. And the associate is going to use a camera to take pictures of Gohan and Coco in Coco's apartment building residence. The idea is the pictures are going to look incriminating in order to ruin Gohan's life. That's what Barry wants to do. He wants to have pictures that look incriminating to ruin Gohan's life. He's still feeling petty about Gohan getting a lot of attention as the stunt double, or the lead stuntman of the Great Saiyaman movie, and he's still sore about Videl politely declining his autograph from the previous episode. So that's why Barry wants to ruin Gohan's life. And he's blackmailed Coco into going along with this, saying that he'll ruin Coco's reputation if she doesn't agree to go along with Barry's plan. So Coco is thinking about this, and this distracts her, and Gohan eventually notices that Coco is distracted, but Gohan figures that it's because Gohan isn't rehearsing the lines very well, or Gohan refers to himself as an amateur over his line rehearsing abilities. But Coco responds that Gohan is actually very talented because Gohan can fly, he can shoot energy blasts, and he's even friends with aliens, as she met Jaco not too long ago. And Coco thinks that she's the one who's not talented, and she questions how how someone like Gohan could understand the troubles of someone like her. Gohan, however, responds that he actually can sympathize with where Coco's coming from. Gohan explains that while it's true that he can fly, shoot energy blasts, and is friends with aliens, he still knows what it's like to have goals that are easier said than done when it comes to achieving those goals. Gohan explains that he's always wanted to be a good husband, a good dad, and a good son, but trying to find that balance between those three positions, I guess you could call them, or yeah, positions in life. Trying to find a balance between those three positions is easier said than done for him. But he thinks that the best anyone can do with trying to reach their goals is simply try harder. And this actually cheers Coco up quite a bit, and she decides to not go through with Barry's demands despite the threats that Barry has made to ruin her reputation. So Coco keeps the window blinds closed. So the windows of her residence in the apartment building are covered up by these window blinds. So Barry's associate is unable to take any pictures of Gohan and Coco in her residence in the apartment building. So they're able to rehearse the lines without having to worry about any pictures being taken. So eventually, morning is almost morning. We can see the sun is just starting to rise in the sky. So it's they finished up rehearsing lines now. And Coco actually tells Gohan that he should fly home from the rooftop rather than go out through the door. And Coco's reason for this is, or she tells Gohan that the lobby of the apartment building is being painted at this hour, much to Gohan's confusion. But Coco also kisses Gohan as a show of gratitude for him cheering her up earlier. So Gohan proceeds to fly off, and Coco is thinking to herself that she will try harder with achieving her goals and thanking Gohan again for cheering her up. Unfortunately, though, what Coco and Gohan don't realize is that Barry Kahn is on a nearby rooftop. So even though Barry's associate wasn't able to take any pictures, Barry himself ended up showing up on this rooftop on a nearby building, and he took pictures not only of Coco kissing Gohan, but he also takes pictures of Gohan flying off, proving that Gohan is Great Saiyaman. And Barry is just pleased with this because he says it gives him more ammunition for his blackmail against Gohan and Gohan's family. And he's also bragging to himself about how Coco tried to outsmart him, but Barry was still able to get the last laugh. So it's still so the sun still hasn't completely risen just yet, but Gohan flies back to his home, and he finds that Videl is already awake, waiting for him. Gohan questions if Videl was actually up all night waiting for his return, but Videl figured that it must have been a very long rehearsal, thinking about how movie production can be very brutal with schedule hours sometimes. But then they hear a knock on the door, and it turns out Barry has eventually arrived. And Barry shows the pictures that he's taken to Videl, hoping to ruin Gohan and Videl's marriage. And he keeps interrupting Gohan when Gohan tries to tell Videl the actual context of what was going on. And Barry, though, is hoping that, Videl will think that Gohan has betrayed her trust. But Videl is not fooled in the slightest bit. Oh no, Videl tears the pictures up, and she calls Barry out for being a petty and insecure individual, despite the fact that he's one of, if not the most famous of actors. And she says that she knows her husband very well. She knows Gohan is not the type of person to be unfaithful, and she figures there's a reasonable explanation for the context of these pictures. and she requests that Barry leave her and Gohan's home now. Barry, however, refuses to leave just yet, claiming that he'll rat Gohan's identity as the Great Saiyaman to the paparazzi so that they will pester their family for the rest of their lives. But Gohan shows a small percentage of his power to intimidate Barry, and he repeats what Videl had requested earlier: leave the house now. So Barry's outside by his car, and he's still furious that his plan has failed, and he seems he's not willing to give up just yet. But what Barry doesn't realize is that Watagash is nearby. Yes, Watagash eventually comes across Barry Kahn and senses the darkness in Barry's heart. So back in Gohan and Videl's home, they're in Pan's room right now, where Pan is sleeping in her crib. And Gohan is about to tell Videl about the context of Coco kissing him, but Gohan is interrupted when Barry smashes through the wall of Pan's room, revealing that he's now been possessed by Watagash. His appearance has changed somewhat to reflect, it's a new form that's essentially Watagash possessed Barry. And yes, Watagash has granted Barry a significant amount of power. Perhaps due to the surprise of the situation, Watagash possessed Barry is able to sucker punch Gohan and render him unconscious. And by the time Gohan does regain consciousness, he finds Hercule comforting Videl, and he sees that Pan is missing. Watagash possessed Barry has written a message on the wall. He demands that the Great Saiyaman come to the rooftop of the TV station, and so Gohan sets out to do just that. So Gohan does arrive at the rooftop of the TV station, and sure enough, Watagash possessed Barry is waiting for him with Pan with Pan near Watagash possessed Barry. Watagash possessed Barry then powers up into a second form, more monstrous looking in appearance, but also more powerful as well. But Gohan is able to begin the fight with Watagash possessed Barry, and he lures Watagash possessed Barry away from Pan, and this allows Videl to fly up to the rooftop of the TV station to bring Pan to safety. So Pan is safely with her mother now. And a crowd has gathered around the situation. They think that Great Saiyaman's fight with Watagash possessed Barry is part of the movie. That's what the people are thinking. And Gohan is able to try and keep Barry away from the citizens. So the fight is, so innocent people won't be hurt. But Watagash possessed Barry powers up yet again into a third form, much more monstrous than before, but also much more powerful than before. And the movie crew actually arrive on the scene. The director figures that this fight could be the new finale for the Great Saiyaman movie. So the movie crew all head up. Oh yeah, Coco's there too, so cast and crew, I guess. The movie cast and crew all head up to the rooftop of the TV station where Videl and Pan are, and they're all gathered together and they're filming the fight. And so we have several spectators for this fight. Eventually, Jaco arrives too, and he's planning to prepare the cannon on his spacecraft on Watagash possessed Barry. But Gohan insists on defeating Watagash by simply removing Watagash from Barry, because Pan is watching. That's his justification for why he doesn't want Jaco to just use the spacecraft cannon on Watagash possessed Barry. So the fight lasts for quite some time, but eventually Gohan is able to power up to Super Saiyan form, although the helmet is still on. The Great Saiyaman helmet is still on, so we don't get to see Gohan's Super Saiyan hair. However, we do know he's in Super Saiyan form thanks to the aura we can still see the Super Saiyan aura even if we can't see the Super Saiyan eyes or hair. And the director even wants to call this aura glowing Great Saiyaman Super Great Saiyaman. So after powering up to Super Saiyan, Great Saiyaman launches the Super Great Saiyaman Beam in order to remove Watagash from Barry. So Jaco is able to recapture Watagash, and Barry is only stunned and rendered unconscious after what happened. So, and yeah, the director and the movie crew are able to record everything that they wanted from the fight. And Coco, Videl, and Pan are all glad to see that Gohan is safe and sound. So, sometime after this, the Great Saiyaman movie eventually hits theaters, and the movie crew passes off the fight between Great Saiyaman and Watagash possessed Barry as in movie, the fight is the evil subconscious of the Great Saiyaman being personified and out of Great Saiyaman. So an enemy without. That's how they justify the Watagash possessed Barry fight in the movie. It's an enemy without battle. That's how they justify it. And Coco makes a point to threaten Barry or blackmail Barry. Coco says if Barry dares to tell anyone that Gohan is the Great Saiyaman, she will tell everyone that Barry was the monster that the Great Saiyaman fought in the finale of the movie. So Barry keeps quiet with this. He has the motivation to keep quiet. So after this, we do see Gohan's family all exiting the movie theater after seeing the Great Saiyaman movie. Videl and Pan, of course, enjoyed the movie, and Goten and Chi-Chi also enjoyed the movie a lot. Goku, however, he admits that he fell asleep halfway through the movie, much to Chi-Chi's dismay. And elsewhere, we see that Jaco returned to the space snack stand that he went to at the beginning of part 1 of this two-parter, and he's gone here to celebrate recapturing Watagash. The owner of the space snack stand, however, points out that Jaco didn't seem to learn his lesson from what happened in part 1. And the episode ends with the owner of the space snack stand being proven right because Watagash is starting to break free from his container. So there you go. This was part 2 of the Great Saiyaman movie two-parter, and we finished it now. So yes, this two-parter, it was a great way to give Gohan more attention, and it was definitely a great spotlight appearance for Gohan, especially because Gohan didn't get to do quite as much in Dragon Ball Super when compared to Dragon Ball Z. So I'm sure the Gohan fans are happy about that. And this two-parter also did have a lot of heartwarming moments in it. And one of the things I liked was, I might as well mention this. In some recap and thoughts videos that I recorded for certain segments of the Loud House, I mentioned in those videos that while it's true that when it comes to tropes, ideas, or premises, I'm always more about how it's executed, not how many times it's been done before. I did admit in some recap and thoughts videos that I recorded for segments of the Loud House that, there were some tropes, ideas, or premises I might not have been the biggest fan of, but that's more because of a track record of being poorly executed, or I feel some of them are easy to poorly execute, and that's more where my issue would lie with, rather than if it's been done a lot or not. It's just more, it's easy to poorly execute. That's more where I take issue with certain tropes or ideas or premises. Having said that, though, I still am more than happy to see well-executed examples. Like, if I see a trope and an idea or a premise I'm not usually fond of, but it's executed well, then that's great. But what I'm getting at here is I mentioned 2 examples in those previous videos, but for here, yes, this had an example of it being a well-executed example, or a subversion, I guess you could say, a subversion of a trope, idea, or premise that I'm usually not too fond of. The whole someone a significant other is mistaken or framed for being unfaithful to their significant other. And actually, now that I think about it, a segment of The Loud House actually covered that premise, idea, or trope as well, but I did think that example in The Loud House was well executed. So what I liked about here in this episode was they actually subverted it, because Barry tried to frame Gohan for being unfaithful to Videl, but Videl was not fooled by it. Videl knows Gohan well enough to know Gohan would not be unfaithful to her. He would not cheat on her, and she knows that. And she knows Barry was a narcissistic, arrogant jerk who was petty and insecure and would do whatever he could just to spite Gohan and Videl herself, because Videl politely declined his autograph. Gohan kind of got a chance in the spotlight because of his status as the lead stuntman. Videl knew that, yeah, of course Barry can't be trusted, and Gohan, her own husband, can be trusted. So, yeah, and she called Barry out for trying to pull that stunt on her. So I did appreciate that. Like I said, I'm not usually fond of that, where someone would jump to conclusions or assume the worst about someone that they really ought to know better and know that there's reasonable explanations for the context of those situations. And like I said, if it's well executed, that's great. But like this episode where they subvert it and actually say, yeah, the person knows their significant other well enough to know they're not going to pull that sort of stunt, was great. I did enjoy that. So Videl, that was very heartwarming. Videl believing in Gohan and not falling for Barry's lies was a great sight to see. Some relatives of mine that also watched the episode had commented that they enjoyed that as well when they were talking about it after they watched it. They said they really liked how Videl believed in Gohan, and it's like that's definitely the kind of relation you want to see between couples. Yeah, the kind of bond you want to see between couples is that level of trust, that level of knowing your significant other well enough to know their character. That was definitely very heartwarming, so I did appreciate that. And like I said, there were some other heartwarming moments as well, like Gohan was able to help Coco out by pointing out that he does sympathize with that feeling about how you have goals that you want to reach, but they can be easier said than done to reach those goals. It may not be exactly the same type of goals that Coco has, but he can still sympathize because he has the goal of wanting to balance his life as a husband, a dad, and a son, and that can be easier said than done, even if he does have extraordinary powers. And that was nice too, and it shows us that Coco really appreciated Gohan helping her out, and Coco returned the favor by warning Barry he better not try and ruin Gohan's life, because if he does so, Coco will reveal to everyone Barry's true character when he became that monster that appeared in the movie. And you could say Watagash possessed Barry is definitely a classic example of someone's inner monstrosity being brought to the surface. And I was reminded of it before in part 1, but part 2 definitely reminded me of Venom. I was definitely getting a Venom vibe from Watagash possessed Barry. So, and while I'm thinking of heartwarming moments, Goten enjoying the Great Saiyaman movie was a small detail, but I did enjoy it as well, because in the hit two-parter, Goten said he didn't think the Great Saiyaman costume was cool anymore, which Gohan was disappointed by. So seeing that Goten actually enjoyed something relating to the Great Saiyaman movie, was really heartwarming to see. It was nice to see Goten appreciating... it was heartwarming to see Goten enjoying something Great Saiyaman related after he acted callously dismissive about it in the hit two-parter. So it was a small detail, but I did appreciate it all the same. And otherwise, I think that's about it. So I did enjoy this two-parter for giving Gohan some more attention. And of course, Videl, Pan, and even Hercule got a lot to do in this two-parter as well. And like I said, a lot of heartwarming moments, a lot of nice, a lot of fun callbacks or a lot of fun nods to like superhero-related stuff and comic book movies in particular. And yeah, it was pretty cool that they did. They gave someone else the spotlight besides Goku or Vegeta. Like, Goku just kind of had a minor role in this two-parter, and that's okay. It was okay to let someone else have their turn in the spotlight. So, with this episode now airing on Toonami, that leaves 2 more episodes left of the breather episodes after the Zamasu saga, but before Dragon Ball Super's 5th saga. And yes, it's another two-parter. So once this two-parter airs, we're going to go into Dragon Ball Super's 5th saga. So we're almost to the 5th saga, just hang in there a little more for those who want to get back to the main storyline. But otherwise, yes, there we go for now. So as of this video, we've now discussed the FUNimation dub of episode 74 of Dragon Ball Super on this channel. Take care, and until next time.